Welcome to Fearless Finances, where I try to take the fear out of your finances. Today, I want to give a great big shout out to one of our subscribers. In fact, you know what? All of our subscribers, because they keep coming up with good information that helps me not only plan for my own financial future and keep it fearless. But many of you give me great ideas to share with other people. And this one is about little known Social Security benefits that can help surviving spouses. So, before we get too much into this, if you want to be part of this community that helps each other be fearless in our finances, I encourage you to subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell so that you know every time we drop a new video. And when this video is over, if you like what you hear, make sure you like this video so it gets out to other people. But without further ado, I'll meet you on the other side to talk about this new benefit. Okay, so about a month ago, one of my subscribers and good friends said they had a question for me about their Social Security benefits. Her husband died from an accident years ago. She's since remarried. She's 61, but she found out that she could collect from her deceased spouse's benefits. However, since she married before she was age 60, she'd have to get a divorce to collect. And she also found out that these benefits would be payable at age 60 for the surviving spouse. Now, the thing that surprised me about this is I knew that surviving spouses could collect off of their spouse's benefit, even ex-spouse's benefit, if they had young children at home. But she no longer does. She's in her 60s now. But her ex-spouse's benefit is more than her individual benefit or her spousal benefit under her current husband. Now, when she asked me all of this, point one, I thought I have spent my entire career in this industry explaining to people how their Social Security works, how their retirement savings would work, and I did not know about this benefit. Point two, all of a sudden I thought to myself, Renee, you might qualify. Now, I knew I could always collect under my spouse's benefit if I chose to, but I knew that my spousal benefit under him would be less than my benefit. So it really didn't intrigue me that much. I thought, you know what, when I get close to retirement, I'll check, but chances are it's really not going to help me. But now that my spouse has passed on, it means that I can collect at age 60. And do you know what? It won't impact my benefit. This means I can start collecting Social Security at age 60 and allow my original benefit to continue to grow. This effectively means I can wait till full retirement age 67, or even if I can, and it makes good sense, stretch it out to age 70. Now, I do have to keep in mind the income rules. I can only have up to the limit of wages that Social Security allows if I'm not yet full retirement age, which for me, being a Gen Xer, is 67. Yes, they decided to sneak that in there before I could even vote. Wasn't that kind of them? Here are the rules on that. For 2025, those that are not yet full retirement age, and right now, for the vast majority of us, it's 66 in some months, probably like 8 or 9, because we're getting very close to the age 67 for all. But anyway, one can have wages up to 23,400 and still collect the full benefit. Once you hit full benefit age, again, for most of us, age 67 now, this income limit doesn't apply. Since I happen to be self-employed and I control how much wages I am paid based on special IRS formulas to be in compliance, and my business is an S corporation, I can do this. I would be able to meet this requirement. Also note, it says 176,000 for those that pay in. Again, we can make Social Security fully solvent by just increasing that. We did it for Medicare, which I also found out from one of my viewers that Medicare is going through special approval in only 6 states. So they're starting to limit Medicare benefits. To that end, before moving on, the wonderful woman that I spoke to on the phone yesterday about Social Security and my situation with survivor benefits, she was lovely. I thanked her very much for working for the federal government. I said, from me and you and a whole bunch of other Americans, we appreciate the work that she does. I also told her that I hope that things are going well for her in this whole Trump economy and that Doge treats her well. I also want to update you on this. It was my understanding that under Doge, they were forcing everyone back into the office. This was done for a couple of reasons. One, to make it more difficult to work for the federal government, so more people would quit. Lovely, isn't it? And you know what? I was just sitting here thinking, I think that's the only reason, because after all, it doesn't make things more efficient when we have to have office space for everyone who works for the government. It certainly doesn't cut expenses. The whole thing, in my opinion, is a farce. And I told her that we're fighting for her and everyone else. But let's get back to these survivor benefits. I found this particular blog to be the most helpful. I have, of course, noted it in the doobly-doo, the lovely description for you. But here is the section that's probably the most germane to our discussion. Here are the bullet points of individuals that would qualify under this survivor benefit. At age 50, if you have a disability, at age 60, the benefit amount will be reduced. Now, the reduction is this. If you collect at age 60, which I intend to do, your benefit will be 71.5% of the spouse's original benefit. Well, this would be what I'd receive off of my benefit at age 62. And since it still allows me to have my benefit keep growing and switch to it whenever I might want to, in a way, collecting this, whatever the dollar amount, is free money. This will allow me to get even more secure in my financial future. And in a way, at least for my instance, pay me back for some of the retirement that I gave him and many of the other expenses I paid for after our divorce. But the list goes on. At any age, if you have children under the age of 16, I do not know why the federal law always goes with age 16. This is the same thing with the child tax credit. I believe it's 16 or 17. They don't even wait till your kids are actually of legal age before they start ripping away the tax benefits of raising children. Hello, MAGA? If you'd like people to have more babies, make it financially easier for them to raise those babies. Now, this 16 rule is waived if you have a child of special needs or with specific disabilities. And the final one, and this one is germane to my friend. If you were widowed, and she was, and remarried after age 60. She married before age 60. Now, this also means that I better not get married in the next 2 years. I think that's doable. I don't have any really good prospects at this point. In fact, I'm going to take the really good out of there and just say, I don't have any good prospects at this point. Please notice a lot of the other information that's listed on this page. It tells you what I've told you earlier, that even if you collect under these survivor benefits, it does not negate your ability to collect under your own benefits at some point in the future. It gives you the ages for full retirement benefits. It also talks about calling in, finding out about your benefits, and how to apply for them. In addition to having a lovely discussion with the woman from Social Security, I'll also tell you this. I called in. I think it encouraged me to go to the website, which is fine. I personally always try to get my answers from a website first. I don't call anyone. In fact, just prior to this for work, I had somebody try to call me. Then they texted me. I responded to the text before I started recording this. And because I'm not responding right away, they're continuing to text me like it's a live chat. I almost in the first text said, all of this information is at the website. I quite honestly never understand why people are willing to wait for a response when they could try to do some of the research on their own. I don't like the fact, though, that Doge has decided to cut so much staff that it's actually difficult for the employees to not feel overwhelmed and for people to get a reasonable response. Now, I called 3 weeks into the month, which they say is better. They also say calling in the morning is better. I think I ended up waiting about 20 to 25 minutes for a callback. I didn't think that that was too bad. Hopefully, those response times stay the same. I also want to let you know that I put some other resources down in the doobly-doo because, after all, your situation with survivor benefits might be different than mine and the subscriber that I mentioned earlier. Here's one that's an overall informative piece on what if your spouse passes away. As you can see from the picture here, this one is geared toward spouses or ex-spouses that are still raising children. By the way, ex-spouses do qualify when they've had 10 years or more married to that individual, regardless of how long ago they divorced. But the exception to that 10-year rule is if you have children with the deceased person, which brings me to another informative piece that might be of interest to you. This is the overall Social Security pamphlet on survivor benefits. This would address all questions and also noted in the doobly-doo. If you have any specific questions for me, please note them in the comments below. Some of the best content that I get come from subscribers and friends who are asking me about how some of these financial planning things work or investment strategies. I was just emailing with one of the subscribers because he's looking at trying to get into a Canadian index fund. And I thought, you know what? I'd like to have that in my portfolio too. So we were researching this together. Also, I encourage you to read through the comments below because you might find other good information that's good for your financial future. Again, if you got anything out of this information, please subscribe, like this video so other people see it. And here are some other videos about Social Security or retirement planning that you might find interesting too. And I'll see you there.